So you are an uninteresting, unimportant nobody. You're depressed, you're small, you're weak, and you're tired of this kind of existence. That's why you have tuned into me today in order to fix you. Find rest because I have 6 keys that if you correctly implement, I guarantee you it will translate you from a weak man into a man of substance that is desirable by all. It's time to stop obsessing over those females that don't even know you exist. So the first key into translate for the translation from a weak man into a man of substance is social media and porn. I'm going to kind of merge the two of them together. They are basically two keys. So social media and porn, point one and point two. Let's be honest, everything you see today is pornography, and this is an assault by the mainstream media on young men. This is how they do it through skits and content. Basically, every music video you watch today goes something like this. The lady comes in, she's packing her bags, the guy comes in trying to beg her to stay, she disagrees, then he's missing her while sending all this constant text, DMing her constantly, and she's ignoring this text. What they're trying to do is to assault your mind and to make you believe that the woman is at the top of the food chain and you have to pedestalize your life in order to get this girl, or humiliate yourself at, or provide entertainment at your own expense, humiliate yourself for her entertainment in order to perpetuate this relationship, which is absolutely false. My friends, you do not have to go through all of that. You do not have to degenerate yourself or do stupid dances in order to get a female. Do you think Chris Brown is out there twisting his waist and doing all these little things you guys do in order to be funny? There are other ways to be funny that doesn't necessarily require going to the degenerate outlet. That's the first thing. The second is, if you notice, the first ever pornography that was made was in 1861 by Thomas Edison. The movie was called The Kiss. And in this movie, the pornography was a guy, was a peck on the lip. That video instantly got the church riled up. The church threatened to excommunicate him if he did not take that movie down. There were so many debacle around that 1861 movie. So that during that time, a peg to the lip was regarded as pornography. Right now, we have children literally doing things which are worse than that. Let me tell you a story. A few weeks ago, I heard a knock on my door. Who's there? It's the laundry guy. Gestured him to where my laundry are. He took it out. Then 30 minutes later, exactly 30 minutes, I forget what I went out to get. On my way, I looked to the corner where this laundry guy's shop was situated at, and it was very dark, but I could see two children about the age of 5 or so kissing. Immediately I stopped in my tracks and I looked at them. They just disengaged, waiting for my next move. They weren't even startled. Immediately I took the next step to continue my journey, to continue what they were doing. That is a vivid example of the rapid decline in social decadence. If it was in my own era, that kind of events occurred, those two children will be disciplined. Their guardian will make sure the two of them never see eye to eye. That was the level of strictness surrounding morality. In the about 10 to 20 years ago, the idea that you as a female can walk next to a man that you're not married to was unfathomable. You would get death stares from the people on the street. Everyone would consider you a sex worker. You'll be reported to either your parents or your guardian or anybody in charge of you. That was the level of morality surrounding that era. But right now, we've degenerated up onto a point that degeneracy has become the societal norm. So you going through all of this, you consuming content that's not good for you, has become normalized, which you now believe is the norm. but it's not. It's destroying you in real time. You have to take charge of your life. You know it's destroying you. You know you're not supposed to be consuming that kind of content, but yet you still do. You promise yourself you're not going to do it, and yet you find yourself reverting back to that pattern. Now, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. You're trying to stop that habit as opposed to replace that habit. You do not stop habits. You do not change an existing model by fighting current reality. You change that model by building a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. That is the classical way to replace any habit or addiction. So this addition, the time you spend on page 64, replace that time with a positive habits like reading or going after something you're passionate about, going to the gym, doing some push-up. Eliminate all cues that direct you into that behavior. Those are the first two things. The third thing is video games. Video games, I'm sure most of these video games guru will come at me. Oh, video games help you to become more cognizant, that increases your cognitive ability. My friend, you are deluded and you're a liar. Video games, of course, help in a bit. Elon Musk plays video games. The majority of you are trying to model the plateau as opposed to the come up. He's at a stage that even if he decides not to work again, he's well off than most of you guys. So if you model his come up phase, you don't want to model the part where he had to sleep in an office slash apartment. You don't want to model the part where he had to shower at YCMA. You don't want to model the part where he had to work 18 hours a week. But you want to model the easy again, model the come up, not the plateau. So that's the first thing. The second is this video game has been able to exploit a primal instinct in you. As men, we love conquest. As men, we love that level up. That's why majority of you are dragon slayers. Majority of you are these lieutenants in the black ops or Call of Duty, whatever. But you don't want to take the same action in real life because it takes less effort in a video game. The same amount you put in leveling up that character is the same amount it takes to level up your initial character. So if those video games did not create a progressive scenario in which you could level up and invest your money and time into it, you would not be playing those kind of games. So stop, cut out the video games, stop playing video games, and like I said, you do not stop an habit, you replace it with something positive. So cut out those video games, cut it off completely, and move to the next thing. That's the first thing. The fourth one is your health. I'm not going to buttress on this point very much because I too am working on that quadrant, that part of the quadrant. But your health is very important. If you do not have health, if you're obese, if you're morbidly obese, it's going to cut you off for certain kind of opportunities. So I don't want to speak much on that wise because I'm not a health expert myself. So move to the next one. Poor sleeping habits. Your sleep is actually very important to your productivity. If you sleep 8 hours a day, 8 hours, how dare you sleep 8 hours a day? By by 5 p.m. the stock market is already not 5 p.m. By 6 p.m. the people on the other side of the west coast are already trading. The stock market is already open and you're sleeping away. I for one, I get up by 1 a.m. By 1 a.m. by 1 to 4 I read and I study some philosophies and understand the financial change and what's happening in the financial market. So within those 4 hours I've been able to assimilate information. The next 30 minutes is for me to take those information, juxtapose it with its local equivalent, and see how it can benefit me in real time. The next 2 hours, I'm uploading tons of content to my faceless channels. So before 7 p.m., I've done all of this work. I've gotten this massive head start against you, and you've not woken up, and you want to be successful. That is ridiculous of you. So my friend, do not place your mind. Do not believe everything you see on the internet, including me. Do not, even anything you are learning here, ask yourself what's the local equivalent of this belief system. Juxtapose between what I'm telling you and what you have. and see which one is more advantageous to you. All the media said, oh, the studies said 8 hours is beneficial to you. How many hours do you think Elon sleeps? How many hours do you think Bill Gates sleeps? How many hours do all these successful people and these people who have been able to achieve amazing things in real time? If that does not tell you something that the media is lying to you, then I don't know what else will be. So pause, we brought us on social media and porn, poor sleeping habits, your health. So let's touch on the final thing. The final thing being your emotion. Learn how to control your emotions. Recently, I was about to get into some debacle that happened in Nigeria. Supposing I didn't control my emotions, supposing I didn't wait and bide by my time, I would have been in deep shit currently. So you have to adopt this level of stoicism. I'm not saying you should be stoic and not let anything get through you and be a weirdo and not have a personality. No, there is a balance. But this tap into your emotional side, be more feminine, cry more. If you don't have the ability as a man to control your emotions, then what you're going to get is school shooters and rapists, people who act on impulse. As a man, you have to be the emotional, you have to be the mountain which are emotional waves crashes on. That's why you don't get females. That's why your girl leaves you. That's why every single person around you hates you. It's not because of you as a person, it's because of this mindset you sustain to cry more and share everything. My friend, you have a very flawed misconception about what honesty means. All aspects of your life are not for public consumption. Everything that's going in your life doesn't have to be shared. There are things you have to keep personally. There are things that has to be within you. You have to be able to sustain the element of surprise. You don't let all your cards out and show everybody what you're doing. Tell me when was there ever a time in history that a skillful general who plans to surprise a citadel went around announcing his plans to his enemy? Exactly. You cannot differentiate your friends from your enemy. You don't know who's who. So learn to keep your mouth shut. That's the last thing. To summarize all of this, I want to let you know that all of these are symptoms of one thing. One thing that if you solve, that this and even more that I didn't highlight would. So fix this mental health issue. Once you fix your mental health, once you get your mental health right, everything else follows. As always, my friends, it's a pleasure speaking to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.